you are. Thank you. We'll call the April 17, 2023 meeting of the Greenwood Board of Public Works and Safety to order at 5:30 PM. A roll call, please, Amanda.
Mr. Hoover,
Here.
Mr. Rutherford,
Here.
Mr. Coughlin.
Here.
Minutes of our last regular session of April 3, 2023 have been distributed to members of the board. Any corrections, additions, or deletions from staff? Hearing none, is there a motion for approval of presented?
Move to approve the minutes. Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Mr. Cole, how are you, sir?
Doing well, thank you.
You're first on our agenda.
Rob Cole, Greenwood IT Director. In front of you should have a memo. The city's in need of replacing the 100 laptops that are used in the police and fire vehicles. HP came back with the lowest pricing at $100,780 for their EliteBook 830G9 laptop. That is just the newer generation of laptops that are already in use. They have the Generation 5 laptop right now. The laptops would come with a 5-year next business day warranty, which is different from the current 4-year warranty that they have. So we're just trying to extend the life an extra year. Funds are available at this time, and I'd like to request the board's approval to proceed with the purchase and have the mayor sign the appropriate documents on your behalf.
Is this replacing laptops or?
Yes, that would be replacing. They're currently in use right now. The 4-year warranty ends in June, so we're trying to get some new ones in place before that ends.
Other questions for Rob? Is there a motion?
I move for approval with the mayor's sign. I'll second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Rob. Good evening. Next. Troy.
Good evening again. Brad Coy, Assistant Fire Chief, Greenwood Fire Department. Bring before you consideration of 2 change orders from Seagrave International. That is the fire apparatus company that we have ordered a engine and a ladder from. However, in late first of the year, they came back and said they needed to provide us a surcharge of $314,000+ due to materials costs, which is outside the initial contract. So after consideration through the controller, the deputy mayor, and the fire department, we decided to move forward with that. Greg Wright has secured funding for it. I just need approval for myself to sign off on those change orders.
It's all
A lot of
on
money for a change order.
Yes.
What's the total contract?
I don't have it with me. It's $314,000 for 119,945 and 194,869 respectively.
What was the total cost of the beginning?
Over
$3 million.
Original was just over 2, a little over $2 million. Not something we're happy about. Don't.
But not many options is what you
Yes,
said.
that is correct.
Well, I'll move for approval.
Second. He seconded.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
Brad. Let's go to Brady Bond, Crossroads Engineering. Talk about Oliver Springs.
Good evening. My name is Brady Vaughn with Crossroads Engineers. So Oliver Springs on your screen there, it's going to be a multi-family apartment complex. We're just here tonight to get acceptance of the performance guarantees, acceptance and execution of the inspection and testing agreements, and acceptance and execution of the final plat.
Help me out and give me some other landmarks there.
So this is Emerson and Alpine Way. It's just east of the airport. So south
Yeah,
of
okay.
South of County Line Road,
Turn around,
north of
just
Main
goes
Street.
where it's not, okay.
Yeah.
We have a memo, any questions or issues for Mr. Bond?
I move that we approve the request.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thanks,
Thank
Rick.
you.
Derek Snyder. Schwartz Crossing.
Evening. Derek Snyder, Crossroad Engineers, 115 North 17th Avenue, Beach River Unit. Here on behalf of Schwartz Crossing Development to request acceptance of the sanitary sewer installed in Schwartz Crossing Commercial Subdivision, the release of the $127,485 performance guarantee, and acceptance of the maintenance guarantee in the amount of $13,245.32.
I also have a motion on this with some conditions for consideration. Anything out of line?
No, we're still waiting for the receipt of the balance due on the sanitary sewer inspection and testing agreement, and that's a total of $640. We're also, well, actually, we're no longer waiting for receipt of the original maintenance guarantees. Those were provided to our offices today.
We approve the request subject to payment of the $640.
Second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thanks, Derek. And Chad Mays, Kinley Horn, Chase Bank. 135.
Good evening. My name is Chad Mays, Kimley Horn and Associates, 96th Street, Suite 580 in Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm here on behalf of JP Morgan Chase Bank for the Chase Bank White River Project team to request acceptance of performance guarantees. Also to request acceptance and execution of the inspection and testing agreement as well as the final plat. Excellent. So a little context, the project's located at 565 South State Road 135 in Greenwood. It's on the east side of State Road 135, to the south of Library Boulevard, and to the west of Library Park Drive. Excellent. So it's a redevelopment of the existing bank. It's on 1.36 acres. Currently zoned CM commercial with a square footage of 4,130 square feet. 35 parking spaces are proposed, 2 of which being the required ADA. And there's a little history on our review process here with the city. So here's the overall site plan, if you guys haven't seen it yet. The access will be very similar to the existing, except for the right and only access on the far west drive. Excellent. Here's the overall final plat. You can see there's a typical 5-foot no access easement around the perimeter of the lot, except for the access points, and then a 7-foot sidewalk easement on the west side. Excellent. So,
Chad, how are you changing it from is the footprint changing?
yes, it's a complete tear down and rewrite. Yes.
The traffic in and out, going out, backside is still have.
That's correct.
Now, the drive up, I think, was on the south side, now it's on the east side.
So the driveways are in the same place.
Right.
Because they are today, the Library Park Boulevard.
Questions? This again is a conditional approval. We would recommend anything. We need to.
There's nothing.
Actually,
no
no
conditions.
conditions.
Received everything. Yep.
Okay.
I move for approval.
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thanks, everyone, too. Chief. From the audience, Chief Ice.
Good evening. Here to ask that Officer Frank Gobles, duty weapon be retired to him. His last day will be April the 19th. Served 23 years very honorably. And serial number for the Glock 17 9mm handgun is B as in boy, W as in William, A as in Adam, F as in Frank, 477.
I move for approval.
Second.
For the discussion, hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Chief.
Appreciate it.
Anyone else in the audience wish to address this? Anybody at all?
Good evening, Molly Lowe with the mayor's office. The Amaya family is having a 16th birthday party. Or online? Oh, excellent. Are you trying?
Yes.
Excellent. We received a request for a noise waiver. They're having the 16th birthday party at the Bay, the Barnet Bay Horse Inn on April 22nd. The request is for a noise waiver from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. Our events team has reviewed it and recommends you grant the waiver until 11 p.m. only.
Questions? I know we appreciate, I know your original request was till 1 o'clock, but that typically is we usually stop those things at 11 o'clock. So we appreciate you being willing to accommodate us in that regard.
Yeah.
You can still party till 1. So be
Just
quiet.
to be
Oh,
quiet.
wow, we're definitely still partying.
Maybe wore out. You never know.
Yeah, it's actually a 15-year-old. She's
Oh,
just,
what do you call that?
it's a quinceañera.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty big. Wasn't my idea. All I wasted money like that, but
You'll write the check.
Yeah.
Check.
yeah.
I'll move we grant the waiver request from 5 till 11 p.m.
Second.
Further discussion? There none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Congratulations on your luck.
I'll send you.
Anyone else in the audience wish to address us? Then we'll move on to Mr. Foster. Do you have to know anything about the IDA compliance plan? We heard everything was good.
Yeah, it's looking good, and I believe it's available on the SharePoint if you want to look at
It
it.
is, okay. We'll turn to you to address corporation council status.
First, consideration of multiple lighting service agreements with Duke Energy for replacement light bulbs to LED. There's several throughout the city damaged bulbs. Maybe Kevin can speak better to this than I can.
This is something we've worked on with Duke for, gosh, the deputy mayor's trying to do it for years. They kept telling us to wait until they got a certain program. Under the terms of the agreement, we would get about, what is the check? We get back $50,000. We get about $50,000 back as our share of rebates, essentially, national and state programs that incentivize lighting efficiencies. And what they're proposing doing is changing all the Duke-owned streetlights, of which there are hundreds, if not thousands, in the city, over to LED, the ones that aren't. They would retain ownership of the lights as they do now. There are certain lights we own, like on Madison Avenue, the decorative ones, but the vast majority of lights in the city are property of Johnson County Emergency or from Duke Energy. They would start taking these down in tranches, and we'll get a rebate as well as lower operating costs because the LEDs cost less and new equipment on the lights. Now, I will say that it is, granted, I can't sit in the attorney chair like you all, or two of you guys, but it is a contract of adhesion. They don't know, no one knows how many lights they have, and they can't tell us or how long it will take. What we have done is say that if they're going to get in the right of way, then they've got to go through the engineering CPS office and pull a permit. And if they're going to try to close the road, they've got to come back here to do that. So we do have ways to regulate to an extent their impact on traffic and the right of way. But they'll kind of largely do it at will in regions as they see fit.
So this could be an indeterminable long period of time. Is that a fair statement, Kevin? I don't mean to put you on the spot.
No, that's correct.
Questions for Kevin?
So our monthly rate that we currently pay them will change.
The rate has been changing as set by regulators at times. It spiked up and now it's come back down a little bit. But the amount we pay based on total energy use, not including the base or rental rate, should decline as the LEDs use much less energy rather than the traditional yellow sodium or whatever the various lights are.
Metal halide.
And they are brighter too.
They are brighter. In fact, you can see on Honey Creek, if you ever go over there, which actually I think that's a made in BRMC, not Duke, but there's one at Curry right in there. Basically, there's an LED one right next to it, a yellow one, and you can see the difference. Real strong in quality of light. But Terry, the deputy mayor, could be here today, but I assure you, he is all over this one. Lighting and right away are his. But the long-term risk residents will get a $50,000 check to Greg when the rebates come through and will spend less energy, which hopefully could decrease our bills and we'll get a better quality of light.
Does this require replacement of the pole or just the lighting fixture?
Most of them are not poles, almost all of them, from what we've been told, is not poles. But there are, and again, Mark may know more about this than me, there are endless permutations of problems and updates, or what we understand. All the lights come from different eras and have different equipment, different setups, and so they require different levels of conversion based on the type of light they are.
And I would say the majority of Duke's streetlights are what we call Cobra head style lights, and they're mounted on to existing like telephone poles and utility poles, so they're not on standalone poles. So in that case, I would wager bet they have to replace the whole arm of the light.
Just that, not necessarily replacing the pole.
Yeah, there were
Right,
some.
they would
yeah.
replace the utility pole, correct, in those locations.
That should,
But again, like I said, what they find when they're out there and what they do.
So once they're complete with this, we should have a more accurate count of how many lights we have.
I would not say so.
One
They
would
will
think.
provide us with that information. I would love to. Logically, you would think so, but I think Greg, who's dealt with it a lot with me, would say that it's highly unlikely.
I mean, don't write them a check till they.
No, we don't write them a check. They pay us on this, but like on the. We will have a better idea, I should say. A lot of it is mapped. They are adverse to sharing that with us under business competitiveness, confidentiality, and national security, I guess. That's their list.
benefit of being a utility monopoly.
But we get, but for example, we don't get as bills from the water company or same way.
I would move that we approve the request and authorize the mayor to sign.
Second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Good luck. Drew?
Next matter is resolution 2305, want to amend resolution 92-3 to amend the ADA coordinator. We did this in a lot of other boards and ordinances, just changing from Daniel Johnston to Mark St. John.
I have you've given us a resolution number 23-XX. Is it 05?
It is, I will make sure it's the correct word, it's final, that you can sign that one, I'll fix it.
Okay.
That is, yeah.
Questions? Some simple thing from Daniel.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Further discussion? And then all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right, next is resolution 2306, approve public policy to identify non-financial asset lease contracts under GASB statement 87. Terms of change in how they lease things, so this is just updating our rules, the most recent terms and definitions that they use to standard practices.
What is it, GSAB?
Is the Government Accounting Standards Board. Basically, the way they want us to report leases has changed. This sets a minimum for it to actually matter to our financials. Keeps us from having to report all the individual copier leases for the most part.
for the record.
I would move we approve resolution 2306.
No.
Wants to sign.
Yeah, go ahead.
Did you second that?
Yes.
Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
That's it from Corporation Council.
No saying we didn't listen.
We're just keeping you on your toes there, Kevin.
Huh?
We're just keeping you on your toes.
Trying to see if you read things.
Yeah. Mark, I'm sorry.
Yes, I have two items on my status test tonight. The first is our easement encroachment request docket. We have one request on the docket. It's an encroachment number 2023005. It's at 1244 Sander Lane Drive. They're requesting to place a fence in the planted drainage and utility easement. The engineering division is recommending approval of this request with our standard conditions.
Question for Mark?
I move we approve the easement encroachment request.
I'll second that. Further discussion? Then all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
And my second item for you is an operations and maintenance manual for Oliver Springs, which you saw earlier tonight. We're asking that you authorize the mayor or deputy mayor to sign on the board's behalf this operations. and maintenance manual.
So moved.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thanks, Mark. Okay, Craig.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, I'm the encroachment request from 1244 that got approved.
Yes.
Thank you for one, for approving it. And two, do I get any like final approval letter in the mail or anything?
Yes, Mr. Bennett, we have a docket tonight that'll be signed by the board members, and that will be emailed to you.
All right, I appreciate your time and thank you again for the approval.
Not a problem. Great.
Good evening, Greg Wright, City Controller. I sent out to you all last week our insurance rates that were proposed from our broker Epic Insurance. There were some significant increases on the auto insurance, also an increase to our deductible. That was based on our losses over the last year or two. The other one is, with a large increase, was the law enforcement liability, and that's because of a couple of pending cases. They did tell us that if in the future those are resolved for less than what's currently on the loss run, and the expectation that will hurt us less in the future. But generally, they said that these loss runs will hold for about 5 years in our rates. So we are looking at some options on how to help have fewer accidents caused by distracted driving or things like that. But for now, Travelers was the only company that would quote us on those policies. So we've been with them the last couple of years. We've had good experience with them. We were hoping to get a little bit better, but because of the loss runs, nobody was willing to quote us. So we are recommending approval of the proposed rates from Epic, and I would ask that you allow me to sign on the board's behalf.
No, we had those. Greg had sent us to this.
Is this unusual for cities to have that kind of loss?
Not necessarily unusual, but we did have just a year where there were several rather large tort claims, and then also just not all accidents are the fault of our drivers, but when they are and we file claims on it, the payouts are just because the cost of repairs right now have gone up so much, the payouts have gotten more expensive. That's part of why they bumped our deductible from 1,000 per incident to 2,500 per incident. So we're hoping to start doing a little bit more defensive driving so that we don't have to pay out as many claims.
Sounds like it, at least for respect to this policy year, it is what it is.
Pretty much. We're hoping that if we can show some significant improvements, that that'll count less against us in future. approvals.
Pleasure for
I move for approval.
with pleasure.
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Rutherford,
I would move for approval of the claims as presented.
I'll second that.
further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We will stand adjourned at 5:55 PM. Thank you all. Contracts, you give a little sheet, we're cheap, you would let that.
You have to decide. You can give me a help on that.
He's done that.